Welcome to Gospel Diaries, a platform that offers a unique avenue for artists to share their stories, their experiences, and personal journeys. Today we're at the First Church of Loving Faith with Pastor Douglas Powell and Elder Roland Chapman.
Part 2.
Let's go inside. Sanctuary, y'all. All right, so we're in the foyer of the church. Oh my God, and do I feel like it's a sanctuary? Oh, and we have a living legend right there, Mr. Reverend Roland Chapman, Bishop Crusher. And we got the one and only, the pastor of the church.
I believe in my heart
that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and He came and gave His life and died for me, that I might be saved. And I confess it with my mouth. You come on, Hashana.
Not really. I hope y'all bear with me because I think many of you saw maybe about 45 minutes ago where I broke down because since Archbishop passed, they called my cell phone 2 o'clock in the morning before we went to bed. They said, oh, I see some improvement and da. So Reverend Powell and I, we said, okay, we can rest maybe for a minute. And Lord and behold, 2 o'clock, my cell phone rang. I said, oh God, no. But it was. The doctor said, I hate to tell you, but he said, Mr. Hall has expired. I said, you said what? My heart dropped to the floor. I jumped up. I said, Reverend Powell, wake up. The doctor said, Archbishop is dead.
All right, Gospel Diaries, listen, we are back, okay? And we are with the also wonderful Reverend Roland. Oh my God.
That is me.
Listen, many see your face. We know you at First Church of Love and Faith. You're very charismatic.
Okay.
And everything. And we love that about you. The energy that you distribute to the audience we feel it, man. So I'm honored to be with you.
Thank you.
And just talk to you for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you, man.
About myself?
Yes.
Okay. Well, originally I am from the state of Alabama.
Okay.
I graduated from college in 73, came directly here. And then I went back to there for a couple of years. Then I came back in about the beginning of 1979. And at that point, after I came back, then this is how I got to meet Archbishop. Well, he was an Archbishop at that time, but Lucius Hall. And I followed him because he was at First Church of Deliverance, and their broadcast came down into the area, into where we live, because it covered 30 states, and then I also went into provinces of Canada and Central America. So I was fortunate to hear his voice, and so after getting to meet him, things began to, and after Reverend Carl's passed at First Church of Deliverance, that was which he left 3 people in charge. But and I know that when three can't really run a church, right? Because some heads are gonna bump. So therefore problems arose. So as Reverend Powell stated when he was talking, so Archbishop felt it was better that I go. And the Lord gave him a vision. And so I came with him because actually before First Church Love and Faith was born, we had what we called the crusade. We were going from various churches here in the city and outside the city. We was going with Archbishop, and so but after that we did that for a couple of months, and then we began to. Some of the other leaders say, why don't we just start a church? And that's what happened. Wow. Because and it was time, because many was following him. We had left. If we was at somebody else's church, we would now follow him. So we were without our church home. So we wanted to be covered. So we started First Church of Love and Faith, and we started down at Mount Pisgah Center, 4046 and King Drive, and that was in 80. And after 6 months, we came to this location where we're at now, July 13th. And then we've been at this site since. Wow. And as Reverend Pastor said, then we purchased this building, which is the sanctuary, and we did the fellowship hall, and then we did the daycare center. And the Lord blessed us, and all of this stuff was paid for within 6 months. Because of the kind of person, the Archbishop, he knew how to raise money, and he knew how to motivate, those who was working with him, and that's just what we did. We just followed direction. We started when we were at Mount Pisgah. We were doing yes, we got some of our first broadcasts. At least I got a copy too. When we first started, because we were on at that time it was WVON. And they've changed, and then it changed over to WGCI. Then we was on WMPP. We was on a number of stations, but that started down at Mount Pisgah Center. Before while we were there. Actually, to be honest, we broadcast that next Sunday, that which was April 21. That following Sunday, then we were broadcasting. We started actually broadcast after we had our first service. Wow. Okay. And we've been going since.
Now, what about the television broadcast? Like, when did you all start the television?
Okay, television came a little later, around about 2005 or 2004. Then that's when we actually got into with the TV ministry, because at that time it was new to many of the churches, and we all had to get adjusted to doing that. And so, but around about it may have been early. It may have been 2003 that we actually started the TV ministry, which was Chicago Cable 25, which is still in existence. It comes on now Saturday nights, and it's I think 6 churches that is still there. Right. Because not everything is controlled by the city, but we are one of those 6.
So do you know how the collaboration of all the Cosmopolitan, Christian Fellowship, and I think it was a few others, how did that collaboration start?
Okay, that came about because they all those churches were already broadcasting churches. And Reverend Evans, who was the president, and Archbishop, he was vice president. So they came together for a meeting, and different things happened during those meetings, because they went through several, because I think it started out with something that was with I believe AT&T was involved at that time. But anyway, it started there, and it moved to different other things. But those churches that you call, because of their pastors already broadcasting, they then they form what they call Broadcast Ministers Alliance, which is still is in existence. Reverend Stephen Thurston is now president. And I happen to be on the board member, because Reverend Evans put me on the board, because I took Archbishop to all the meetings, so I was there. So he said, well, since you're here, I'm gonna make you put you on the board of directors. So and right now at this point, I sort of handle the programming itself, as to who is broadcasting and whatnot. So, but that's because they were already broadcasting churches, and they were a part of, and they knew each other. So that's how that came about. I was a designer. I went to school. That was my that's why I went to school, to learn how to design clothes. When I went, they not only taught us how to design clothes, but we had to make them as well. So I So they call a tailor for guy. But I learned all that. They had us learning how to do what they call how to print, make fabric, how to, the prints in the fabric. They taught us how to be interior designers. They taught us how to make jewelry, all of this, which was like a full package. But that was I was in it was in this school of homemaking, what they call home economics, which was the school that I was under. So they taught us all those things. But actually, I'm a designer. Haven't designed too much in recent years because I devote my time to the church. But as well as that, see, I'm and I'm a model as well. I have modeled with several. Well, I had my own years ago, and then recently I did. But joined this is how he's gone now, Carter Hamilton. I was a Vogue Esquire model. And whenever there is a show to do, they will call me, and I'll do it. And even if it's a private show, if they want to pay me, sure. So I learned what they call. I call it a runway, but now they call it the catwalk.
Gotcha. Now you have designed for some of the gospel artists and some of the preachers here in Chicago. Let's talk about you did some work for the Barretts sisters, if I'm not mistaken.
I designed gowns for the Barretts sisters for about maybe 2 years. And how that came about, because when I first was coming into Chicago at that time, they was doing the programs they was putting on those telegram poles and stuff, And I said to myself, I said, I'm going to design for them one day. And would you believe it or not, 3 years later, I was. I said that to myself while my brother was driving. So I said, I'm going to design for them. So that's how I designed them, but I designed robes for Archbishop as well.
Oh, you designed the robes?
I designed robes when it first starting out. Yeah, I designed quite a few things for him.
So you designed the robes. So did it go to a manufacturer?
I made them myself.
Okay.
Well, so because I had to know how. Because we had to learn how when I was in college, right? We had to learn how to make coats. I mean, overcoats, suits, all this stuff. We had to learn it, how to put it together. I did my first, I think it was a shirt. The teacher they were so amazed because I mashed up everything so close. I mean, they talked about it for years. I mean, the 2 years I spent there, because I graduated from there, and I was fortunate while I was in college, I was able to do what they call a one-man show. Gotcha. That had never been done, and they had just built at that time. It was the new student union building, and I think I designed about 20 pieces, and I got models, and it was a great thing. So I had a good time when I was at University of Alabama.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this. I mean, this is just great information. I'm so honored that finally this platform can know a little bit more about the wonderful Reverend Roland. So I do want to ask you this before we leave. We're gonna leave, but I have to ask you one of your most fondest memories is something that you keep dear to heart from Archbishop, and something that you had to learn how to deal with Archbishop.
I got you. Well, it's really kind of hard to put one thing because after I started working with Archbishop, which I was his personal assistant, administrator, you name it, driver, I was just full-fledged. It was just I learned how to. I knew what he wanted and what he did not want. I had to get to know him even better, and which I did. So, but what the main thing that I remember, and I would take that to my to my grave, is as Reverend Powell said, he was a hard taskmaster, but yet he was a gentle person. Archbishop loved people. He loved young people, and he loved the seniors, and that helped to make me a better person now, because that's the thing that I always ask God to do for me. Help me, Lord, to continue to make me more humble.
Gotcha.
Because when you're humble, things will happen for you. You don't have to press. When the Lord is on your side, He'll make a way for you. And I learned that as I was working with Archbishop, because I had to learn how to deal with the members as well, because in working with him, many times someone would come through me, and so I had to sort of be a mediator in a point. So I learned how to be things that I didn't thought that I would ever do, because working with a pastor it's not easy, but it wasn't hard for me because I loved what I was doing, because I really believed that God ordained me to do that.
Agree, particularly those who are guilty, and that's usually the case. But I've learned in my years in the ministry, and then just in my years in the church, because I learned under a great taskmaster. All of the 38 years that I spent under the late Reverend Clarence Cobb's coming up from childhood. But I know that the truth is the light, in spite of. And the Bible says, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And I'm not going to ever let anybody keep me from telling the truth as it really is. I don't care whether it's popular with the folk. A whole lot of things the preacher going to say is going to be popular with folk. But if we sitting up here trying to win a popularity contest, then we should never have gotten started in this business.
And even a couple of thousands of well-wishers are on hand to witness this historic occasion, the elevation and investiture of Reverend Lucius Hall to the office of Archbishop. And we're so privileged to come to you for just a few moments behind the scenes, kind of a making, if you will, of the bishop. And we're happy to welcome and say congratulations to Reverend Archbishop-elect Reverend Lucius Hall. God bless you, Reverend.
Thank you, Pastor Mason. You caught me just after I got on the complex here, and of course I'm preparing to get ready for this great occasion, and it is indeed a great occasion. It's a historic occasion.
Yes, sir.
And I think we know that for a number of reasons. I won't take the time to state them all, but maybe one or two.
Yes, sir.
Because I think the most important thing that sticks out in my mind, Revelation, is the fact that it was 31 years ago this month, right here at First Church of Deliverance, for the 54th annual Congress of the Metropolitan Spiritual Churches of Christ Incorporated, I was licensed to preach. Here we are 31 years later, the 85th annual Congress of Metropolitan Spiritual Churches of Christ Incorporated, and they have elected to elevate me to the office of Archbishop.
Well, that is indeed a historic occasion. Yes, it is.
Just watching you at the memorial service, at the funeral, your speech was so touching. The way that you delivered it, just the way the dramatics of it, like everything. I don't think there was a dry eye in the virtual audience. Because I know I shared a tear. I mean, it was just right spot on. And with me saying that, I want to tell you, thank you so much for holding up, Archbishop, man. And thank you so much for holding your own self up, because if you don't take care of yourself, how you going to be able to... So we can tell, because every time you don't flap your hands over here, you smell... Y'all, I wish y'all could smell this man. This man smells good.
I can't even smell myself. Well, thank you.
He smells good. So I just wanted to sit here and talk with you, and I wanted Gospel Diaries to see your face.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I have made an impression, because actually, after finishing college and everything, and I came and started working with Archbishop. I left that behind me, the fashion world. At least I thought I did, but God always give me something to keep me in that line. Because many people don't know, I had an opportunity where I would. I was in a contest where I was designing, where I designed a gown for the Supreme that was out till Donna Ross had left. I got and I came in third place. So I didn't win, but they should put the picture in a magazine. Right. So I did. So I thought that was great. I even did some pieces, when Dionne Warwick had her shop. It was a boutique that she had in LA called Gazy Boo. I think that it did about maybe 6 pieces that I designed and made and sent to be a part of her. I even I even designed and made a shirt for Sammy Davis Jr. before he was here performing at Miron Theater, and I made it for him and presented it to him. So I got a chance to do that. So I've done a few things.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done a few things.
Oh my Lord, you said Sammy Davis Jr. Wow.
Yeah, that was and then I think maybe a couple years after that, then Sammy passed. But I got a chance to give it to him, and
Wow.
I was very happy.
Hopefully you have a picture of that. If you don't,
I don't because you know what, and I didn't think I made it, and I think, and when I got it finished, I had to really take it to him because that was the night that he was performing at the Mirror. I said, well, I got to get it to him, so I finished it up and took it on out, and did not, and I should have, but I did.
Well, listen, thank you so much for sitting with me, and as I always say, love on someone, and you will change a life. Never neglect to wear your smile, because that just may be the ingredient that someone may need to put down that gun and say, listen, I can live another day.
That's true.
So be kind and be courteous, and I'll see y'all later. Tell the people
Amen.
bye. Tell them bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Nice talking to you guys.